Hey, Thrand here, and we have a blade today that was an honor to receive from Flying Steel for us to test out. It is the East Wind blade. This blade is based on the old Kogatana blades and the flat steel throwing blades and knives from Japan that were used. And it's quite thick. It's heavy. It's a good cross between a throwing knife and a bo-shuriken. And we want to try this out today and see how it throws. It's got an excellent balance on it, as you can see. It can be thrown as for no spin, as they call it, or quarter spin throwing. And we can try that out here in a second. We'll see how well it throws. And like I said, it's perfectly balanced. This is an excellent blade. As we see, not much over rotation. We got a nice penetration. It's deep into the wood. And if you just try to pull this directly out, which I will to show the strength, you could dang near use it as a climbing spike, as sturdy as this thing is. And I believe they do mention that. I wouldn't throw it and trust it while I was climbing, but needless to say, if you wanted to pound this into something, this kind of steel it's made out of, you could actually use this as a handhold while you were climbing. You could have a whole set of these. Good for throwing. They'd be good for fighting. To be honest with you, this reminds me of Ninja Assassins with Showa Kosugi. I don't know if y'all remember that famous scene where the master gives him the blade, and he goes in there and you've got a guy kind of like Kingpin, and he stabs him directly in the throat with it, and the fight scene just commences. It's awesome. This thing would actually be good in hand-to-hand combat. I mean, you've got like all the kinds of things you can do with it and still use it. So, I mean, it's good for fighting as well. So. Good for putting in your boot, whatever you want to do with it. I think it's a nice blade. Due to the balance and due to the sturdiness and the weight, this can be used for long distance throwing as well. So, in my review, I think it's excellent. So what did you think about that?
I love it. That's a great knife. Any son of the South would love this, man. You got yourself a good pair of Western boots. This is a boot knife. I mean, it's a good complement to a Laredo Bowie knife or a Natchez Bowie knife. It's a great ground fighting knife. I mean, it's like Thrand said, you can stick somebody if you're in a ground fight.
It's got a nice weight. If it was, let's say, if it was a thrown and you did the end over end throw like you did, or you actually timed your revolutions, which I'm not as good at those as you are. That's why we had you do this. Even if the mass hit them, it would actually hurt something or hurt a target if you were having to use it for self-defense or something.
No doubt about it. No doubt. I mean, even if you hit the flat of it, it's so hefty, man. It'll ring their bells.
It's basically a tool.
It really is. I mean, it's so versatile. I wouldn't want to leave. This is going to be a permanent part of my collection. I really enjoy this. This is something you can hide on your person. You're right. It's a good tool.
And you can say that it's just a spike. If somebody asks you what it was, it's just a climbing spike.
But what I like is that you can put yourself a nice lightweight cord handle on it or something.
Oh yeah, they have an actual hole, it looks like, in the new models that they're selling at Flying Steel right now. I think they sent these a while back. And that hole's good for securing some wrapping, putting a lanyard on it, or even possibly a tassel if you're into more Chinese style throwing with a little tassel in the back. So I'm sure you can do all different kinds of things with that hole. It makes it very unique, and I'm sure they made it just as well balanced.
I don't even care if this has the hole in it or not. For me, this is just, I mean, it's awesome. I'd hate to give it up if I ever had
to. And we've got a long range throw, a little higher than I expected. I was trying to aim about where I did last time in the other video. But that's got to be about 50, 60 feet. I know this is not going to be the most accurate throw you ever did in your life. But can you do a half spin or no spin throw from that range? And even stuck in a board that's loose. And I do think if you got lucky and hit something at that range, especially if you were a ninja back in the day, or a shinobi, or a samurai, that would definitely put a damper in their battle plans. Very. Oop. Nice throw. A little bit high, though, I'd say.
Well, I know.
He might have still hit him in the head, but that was a nice throw.
That's not bad, man. At a distance, and it still buried itself good. I mean, you can see where it wedged in. That's another thing I like about this
I'm
tip.
amazed. You did an end over end throw and actually stuck it from that range. I didn't think it was possible. You said you were going to try it, but to throw the same distance I did, end over end, and me doing a quarter spin or half spin.
I love the way they wedge this spike out.
Or not, I should say a no spin throw is what they call it, or a quarter spin throw. You did a multiple spin and actually hit end over end and actually stuck it. How many was that? About five or 4 or 5?
I think that was a good 4 or 5 revolutions. We have to go back and watch it.
Very good, excellent.